All right. I'm in the trusting business again. I'm trusting my phone to have a good microphone right now, even though for the last half hour I've been messing with it, trying to get it to not have some fuzzy scrunchily. It's like I'm on the radio, and we all know this ain't the radio. Anyway, I ended up tapping it a little couple times on the back, and what do you know? You can hear me again. Well, I sure hope so, because I'm going to go through this, because I'm an expert now. I've given this lecture at least once before today, and who knows how many times I took it in order to get it right then. Let's hope I remember everything, too. Man, look, I'm wearing Granddaddy's shirt, but I'm wearing this shirt in order to match all the lectures in the Principles of Interpersonal Communication series. Now, you have already listened to the idea that communication is a social event characterized by process, structure, and transaction. And we already talked about the process, the characteristics of the process of transaction. Now, we are going to talk about the characteristics of the structure of transaction and then the transactional nature of the transactional action itself. All right? All right. So, we're going to start with the idea of structure, right? All right. Now, structure is the first characteristic of wholeness. and wholeness is the idea that all of the parts in the personal communication process, in the communication process in general, all of them parts are interrelated. That is, they all connected to one another. You remember how we was talking about like all them channels and the feedback and the feed forward and all that kind of shit? I mean stuff, right? That all, if you just tweak one little aspect of that, if you're like nice when you ask for something instead of yelling or something like that, and that's just like changing the modality on the auditory channel, whatnot, right? Then you can sometimes get a whole lot more than you were expecting to based on your previous patterns of interaction. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that's like, it's just everything is interrelated. If you introduce something on the olfactory channel, right, it changes the whole interaction. I tell you, it changes the whole. Girl, you have got to get some Depends. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I said that. Sorry I said that. All right, so you understand though, like even just changing the just introducing some element on the olfactory channel affect the entire interaction. Anyway, that's what I was going for there. I think we got it. Right? Right. All right, then. Now, the next aspect of the structure of communication is that them patterns in the structure of communication, they repeats, right? And you know, people come in the door and you say, "Hey, how you doing, baby?" And they say, "Wasn't me. I didn't do it. I'm out of here." Right? And that's because they was expecting something else. Ain't that fun? All right. So that's your idea of redundancy. If somebody says, hi, nice day, isn't it? You can't often say, you say it. Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? That's right. You can't say that. Of course, you're going to want to say it in English. Fine, thanks in you. They didn't ask you how you was. They said it was a nice day. And so that when you get tripped up like that, that's like tripping on the redundancies. Like the patterns repeat so many times, we think we're geniuses and we can predict them. And that's the moment in which people are going to switch things up on us. Guarantee. All right, so redundancy. Reminds me of a Ziggy commercial. And here, I can do it. Oh, I can do it on the here Department of Redundancy Department. Ain't nothing redundant about that. Hey, if you don't understand redundancy, get your goddamn Google out and, I'm sorry, get your Google out and Google it. All right, redundant. Well, there's other ways to get there. You know, you don't always have to Google. You got them things, the old-fashioned things called books, and they full of words. The one that's full of the words that has the first word says dictionary on it. You can go flipping through there and figure out what redundancy is. That's because there's some equal of ways to the same and. Yeah, and you know what? That's point number C if you're taking notes. Here, let's do her. Equifinality. I'm so good today. This is awesome. I should mess up my audio more than once so that I can practice, because I'm practicing and feeling real perfect right now. Oh, yeah, you know, it's a little bit too warm for this, but I'm trying to maintain some continuity in this particular lecture. By the time we get to another lecture, I think CuzonLisa may, I think I'm going to have some different clothing. Who am I talking about? All right, so equifinality. Did you know what? Well, I ain't even going to pull the horse's ass thing. Although it's true that when them Latins were standing behind the horse and they're going, hey, that's a pretty looking horse. That's how they get that equestrian. That's the fancy word for horse, right? They did it because they was looking at the horse's end going, that's equal, right? That's the only horse's hand you're able to look at and say that sort of thing. Otherwise, you just say doable to your friend. They did not say that either. Oh, my heavens. Equifinality, equifinality, equifinality. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Equifinality is the idea that there's more than one way to get to the same end. Now, the important thing is understanding what goal it is that you're looking for, right? But, I mean, like you want the door open or closed, you can ask nicely or you can yell. And in my case, I always get more flies with the honey than I do with that vinegar. I do. Sometimes I get some reaction with vinegar, but it ain't whatever. I don't get the door closed necessarily, or I don't get it closed the way I want it closed. You know what I'm saying? Right? And so there's more than one way to get to things. In fact, I give you a dating tip. That wasn't in the last video, so this is new, right? If you go out dating and you like each other, right, and you're getting into it and everything, and you get to talking to each other, then sometimes I'm getting a phone call. It's a little distracting here. Sometimes you get invited back to the house, but you're still gonna get to know your. Anyway, you're gonna get to know your kind of conversation. We'll just get it there. You can have this in the restaurant, because it used to be I'd tell people to ask to see some photo albums, but now I don't even know if it's safe to ask to see some cell phones. But you whip your phone out, make sure that you've got, safe pictures on there to show the people. And you show them pictures when you're getting to know each other instead of playing the whole 20 questions. Where do you grow up? Why are you wearing a shirt that says 18, 19, 29 on it? That's the year grandpa. I shouldn't have told that. I should just pretend that's me. I like that idea even better. It's grandpa's shirt. He turned 100 and we all got shirts like that. I have trouble lying, especially once I told the truth, because it's on video, and then whatever's. Right. Now, I just want to tell you one more thing about the whole equifinality thing. There's a very important message we always send in the people, and that is of the love that we have for them. Well, I love you kind of thing. Right. Well, you can say that a million different ways. And in fact, I have a book somewhere, 1,000 different ways to say I love you. You should be exploring that, because equifinality, the and is getting that special person to understand that you love them. How many different ways can you click like? Right? Okay, that's what you do for me. You click like. You click like, right? Right there. Right. Okay, whatever. Now, number D point in the structure of communication is this whole reduction of entropy. Here, let me put her out. reduction of entropy. Now, entropy is like the state of the universe to always becoming more and more disorganized. Like my entire house is a total example of entropy. The second it gets all cleaned up, I start living in it, and slowly, especially the kitchen table, the shit you don't see that you're sitting on top of, that stuff gets more and more disorganized. And I have invested in a means of keeping the entropy to a minimum every 2 weeks. I bring in an entropy fighter. Some people call them cleaning ladies. Anyway, they help out a great deal with that entropy. Anyway, life itself can sometimes be disorganized and confusing. And if you ain't never done anything before, then you don't know jack shit about what you got to do right now. But thankfully, them structures in communication repeat themselves. So you put yourself in a I'm meeting someone new situation, even though you never talked to that person before. It seems likely in the days before COVID and after everybody's vaccinated and all the little issues of the vaccines worked out with all them renegade remnant mutant virants. Anyway, people shake hands. They shake hands when they meeting each other for the first time. That's a thing. Or they not. Maybe they not. Nowadays, they probably get nod. You don't get so many germs from a nod. You know what I'm saying? But you acknowledge people and let them know that you've noticed them. Now, in Spanish, what do you say, girl? What do you say? You say it. Mucho gusto conocerte. Right. Ain't that sweet? It means it's a pleasure to know you, to meet you. Ain't that awesome? That's just so sweet, ain't it? I just like it. Anyway, we was talking about reduction of entropy. So the structure, because you know in certain situations there's certain structures or patterns that you get to put into play that makes you feel more comfortable. Now, another way in which entropy is reduced is just you can have a conversation with a good friend who spins the information or the situation for you in such a way as to make it a little bit more palatable, you know what I'm saying? And then they're helping you be happier in life, which I think is a definite goal for most friends, I think. Your friends should be telling you that they love you. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here just because I've hit 12 minutes without stopping, which is a miracle. I would like to have miracles like this more often and earlier in the day, but I'll take it right now. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.